We started all this a few years ago. Our neighbors, our friends, our relatives, complete strangers, had all these mysterious things happening to them and their property and their livestock, their animals, and it was something that no one else would address. They came to us. Law enforcement wouldn't help them. Game and Fish wouldn't help them. So we get the call.
How you doing? Darren Weeks. I joined up with the crew quite a few years ago. Met them accidentally, but my main job with the group is doing their weapons, fixing them up, training, go through some of the tactics I learned with the Marine Corps, and that's basically it.
Hi, my name is Jonathan Lee, and I'm with Cryptid for Corners, and I've been researching Bigfoot for quite a while. Lately we've been getting nothing about Bigfoot reports, skinwalker reports, etc. Around the Four Corners, and that's all we've been researching for quite a while.
Hi, yes, I'm Ambrose Lee. I'm John's brother, and he introduced me to like Bigfoot stuff. So I'm starting to get into this. It's pretty awesome.
My name is David Ortiz. I'm very interested in crypto phenomena, things that could exist but we're not sure. And the main thing is I help out with investigation when possible. I also love photography, camera work. I'm starting out with videography too, not as good as JC, but it's an interest of mine. Right here we live in the Four Corners. This is the Animas River Valley, as you see right here. There's a lot of phenomena that we can't explain. It's very interesting. I mean, it seems like just when we think that we found certain creatures, we always find a new creature. I'm just totally blown away with the things that we have here.
My name is Brenda Harris, and I've been involved in this for probably over 5 years, really. We've had some strange things going on in our property, and just checking into more things, and just got really interesting from that point on, from the things that I picked up on camera. And that's when I started trying to investigate what's been going on and the things that have showed up on cameras. It's been very interesting, and hope to catch more things on the camera there. But for now, I'm just still investigating and seeing what else is out there and what's been coming on our property.
My name is Vincent Lujan, and pretty much the reason why we research around this area is due to the fact that there are so many numerous and vast different cryptids around here, and there's always something to look for, always something to research, so we're always looking for different things to do, and just work with different people and try to find out and help out the people around this area.
Hi, my name's Leona Watson, and me and Vincent usually just make sure everybody's safe, and we're usually the ones that are armed, and we do a little research on the side also for this paranormal things that are going on here, and we just want to know. We're interested in everything, and we do a little research on the side also.
There is shit out here that will fuck you up.
My name's Holly, and I've been interested in this crypto thing for a while now, especially with the weird things that have been happening since I was a child up to my adulthood. Anything, just weird, crazy things, and it's just interesting and scary at the same time. And now that it's affecting people's livestock, killing their sheep, killing their goats, we don't know what it is, and it's heartbreaking to see this, and even more so whenever we talk to the people and see how much it affects them. And if there's anything we can do, we go out there and try to help them. And just from Bigfoot to skinwalkers, anything. There's just so many things out here. It's crazy. It's insane. Having my own experiences since I was like 5, and finding physical evidence probably when I was like 16 up to now. I mean, now it's just full-fledged. It's interesting. It's scary. It's not much we can do, but just go out and investigate it and see what we can do to help the people, especially with their livestock being killed off.
Hello, my name's Ryan. I first got into this when I was like 17. We had some stuff happen at home during high school. I had my own personal experience, and ever since then had little experience. I mean, very little knowledge of what we were doing, but we would put out video cameras, just for the heck of it, until we got our first evidence of probably Bigfoot. I don't know, I'm not sure. And ever since then I've been caught into this, and it's pretty interesting, and I want to go see what's out there.
My name is Kevin Puckett. I'm a fellow investigator with Crypto Four Corners in the Four Corners region in New Mexico, and became very interested in tracking down cryptids, Bigfoot, other weird phenomena that's around here, and we've been on a lot of stakeouts and a lot of weird stuff happening in this region.
When you're out here, you definitely got to keep your head on a swivel. These things are pretty elusive. All you can do is prepare for the worst and hope for the best.
My name's Andy. We had an incident in the Four Corners area that livestock were being taken, and we had an answer of thinking it might be Sasquatch, and we're thinking that we have a lot of DNA testing that came out positive, and right now what we're doing is trying to get more information upon the whole deal of Sasquatch.
I'm Jonathan Johnson. I'm very interested in what's been happening on this little adventure so far, I would call it. What's happening here on Upper Fruitland Reservation, and I'm just can't wait to see what I can see. I just hear about it, but I do a lot of hunting on the reservation in the state, and there's really nothing like this, but I hope one of these days I'll get to see what people are talking about.
Among some of the things that I've seen is during my patrol days in my police unit, I was patrolling graveyard shift. It must have been 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, and I pulled off on the shoulder of the highway north of Shiprock. And as I was in my driver's seat, and I had a notepad in front of me, and I was writing some notes down, and off of my peripheral vision, the rear view mirror on my door, I saw a figure. It was white or gray, and it passed behind me from my left to my right, and I saw that as I was in my peripheral vision, and just as I looked, it had passed behind the trunk of my car. I immediately just put it in drive and spun the car around and turned on my spotlight, and I spotlighted that whole area behind me, even down into the shoulder on both sides. Didn't see anything, but we were between two buttes on either side of the highway, and from what I've heard from stories from the past, they would run from one butte to another, and I was right in that area, so I would think that makes sense to me that it was running across the road.
Some of these structures like this that we came on, there's always a larger stick point in a certain way. Does that mean the house is that way, or that remains to be explored, or we could walk that way and see what's over there?
So we definitely got very small juvenile prints in this area. This might be something a young Sasquatch would occupy his time with, building something like this.
Yeah. Yeah, the tracks we saw, they were like, juvenile and real young Squatch.
Hi, I'm Shruti Kandif, and I have a background of law enforcement for 13 years, 5 years of police work, and 8 years of ranger of wildlife, so I'm familiar with all the hiking and wildlife out in the field. So I have had run into some interesting things, but nothing like I've run into at my sister's place one night. Her and I were out walking, and she was showing me some things, and it was dark, and as we were walking and talking, we had noticed a large dark shadow figure standing in some trees. So we flashed our light down and kind of took a look, and when we flashed the light down, this figure had moved and went down. So, that bothered us just a little bit, because we weren't exactly sure what we were seeing and what we had just seen. So we went back to the house just to regain our composure, to talk a little bit, to see what we actually saw, and just to know that there was that huge of a figure out there. We wanted to look into it a little bit further, so that next morning we did go out, and we did notice it was a very large figure, because the trees or the weeds that it was standing on was pretty high, and we didn't notice any prints at the time, but we realized that there was definitely something out there.
My name is Derek Roy, and I'm from Farmington, New Mexico. I've lived here most of my life, and I've experienced a lot of different things here in this area. I was always interested in cryptozoology, but I was never, I always thought it was like somewhere else besides here, but lately, since I met JC, I realized that it's in the Four Corners area too as well. I got a couple of stories. One, I was at Morgan Lake fishing early in the morning. Well, early for me, it was about 10 o'clock. And I took my girlfriend's dog, and we were out there fishing, and I was looking this way, calling the dog back. And meanwhile, the bay was right over here, and I was fishing. And I looked back, and when I looked back, I seen two little black objects, probably about this big, come up and come out of the water and make a groaning noise, kind of like a, and then it went back in, didn't disturb the water, didn't flutter, wasn't what I don't think was fish. And it's kind of weird that earlier that day there was fish, obviously coming up, getting some insects and stuff, but this one kind of just went up like it was checking me out, and then just went right back down and didn't disturb the water. Two of them coming up simultaneously was really weird. So, and I heard a lot of different stories what's going on over at Morgan Lake, and that's something I'd like to check out even more.
Well, my name is Patrick Harris, and I got interested with Bigfoot a couple years ago. Me and my cousin found a footprint that was 18 inches long and 4 inches wide. And how we found the footprint was one summer night we were listening to music in our house, and we decided to go outside. But before that, my cousin, he smelled like a skunky smell, but we didn't think of it at the time. We just thought it was a skunk. And then, well, we waited a while because we really thought it was a skunk, and then we went outside. And when I walk with my head down, so like I like to look to see if I see anything. But this time I actually did see something, and it was really interesting what I saw. It was a footprint, an actual footprint of what we've always heard stories about and everything. And we really looked at it to make sure it was an actual footprint. It was an impression on the soft sand, so you can see the toes and everything. So we went inside, or we ran inside to go tell my mom. We woke her up, and she didn't believe us until she actually saw it. And from there on, this is how far we've gotten and everything. So, yeah.
Alright. I'm Will, or sometimes called Dirty Willie, as I've been known to be called. I've been involved with this for a couple of years through Crypto Four Corners. I've been on a couple of investigations. I've been out on some of the stuff that's happened around here. It has intrigued me, but I always like doing research on stuff that no one knows about. And that's how I became involved. And hopefully I'll be further involved in this someday.
So our latest investigation, guys, here's what we've got. We've got horseshoe-shaped prints near the corral. They don't come from anywhere. They start at one spot and they move down to the corral. And they're bipedal in nature. So let's just take it from here. This is what we found.
Now these are the first pictures that the people took of the first probably 3 sheep that were killed the night before this thing came back and killed more sheep. But this is here is a goat where it slit the side of the goat on the side, probably on the side stomach there. And the puncture wound on this one here was right around on the neck side where it just sucked out the blood. As you can see here, it didn't even bother the insides, and it just sucked the blood out is all it did. Now right here's a puncture wound of a sheep where it just sucked the blood. Now this one here is the sheep here. As you see, there was no other puncture wound, no insides were taken out. All it did was puncture the wound in the neck and sucked out all the blood.
Claw?
Yeah, a big claw.
Wow.
Go ahead, next one. Now here's that sheep. This sheep only had just the neck puncture wound, and the blood was all sucked out of that, and that was it on that one.
So you're talking about a punch wound. It's like a straw going in, or
yes.
a teeth, you know,
something
like
sharp.
like a vampire, is that double, or is it just a straight, like a straw sucking?
I would say straw sucking, something sharp at the end for that puncture. It's pretty big. The wound was
So
pretty
it's
big.
just almost like a mosquito just going into your skin.
Yeah, but bigger.